It's been a long time since we got a true one-on-one Power Rangers fighting game, and I mean a very long time. For the last 20 years or so, Power Rangers games have been either beat-em-ups or really crappy games that couldn't figure out what genre it is. The last time we saw a number of Power Rangers fighting games was way back when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers aired. Yeah, that long ago. We saw Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive, the Game Gear games, and of course Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the Fighting Edition on the Super Nintendo. However, in 2017, around the time the Power Rangers reboot film was released, we finally got a new Power Rangers fighting game, the first of its kind since the 16-bit era. It's also a beat 'em up, but it's more known for being a fighting game. It was both developed and published by Enway, and is still getting supported to this day. And that game is called Power Rangers Legacy Wars. Sadly though, it's a mobile only game. Now I've never played Legacy Wars before, and I hate playing fighting games on smartphones, but I hear it's actually good. Still, I'm very skeptical of trying it. Fortunately though, in 2019, those same developers gave us an alternative to Legacy Wars for consoles and PC. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. It was released for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So, how does Power Rangers Battle for the Grid hold up against other fighting games? Well, let's find out. Before I get started, the footage you'll see in this video is the Nintendo Switch version. I bought the physical copy from Limited Run Games sometime last year. Also, this game has gone through numerous updates over the past year or so since it launched, but I'm reviewing this game based on how it was as of early 2020, since I recorded it around that time. So if some stuff is missing, that's why. Anyway, right off the bat, you'll see that the game has a few modes to choose from. Online, Story, Arcade, Versus, and Training. A little on the lackluster side, but all things considered, it's pretty good. The online feature is especially important, and I'll get to that in a bit. The presentation is solid, and the music is pretty good, though there are not many tracks to listen to here. And in the menu screen, you'll hear a nice rendition of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme song, along with voice clips from the story mode. The roster is also a bit on the lackluster side, but overall it's decent. 18 fighters in total so far, including DLC. Not bad for a Power Rangers fighting game. Don't expect the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, or Super Smash Bros. Type of roster here. That said, the roster was half this size when the game launched. It came out with only 9 characters. Tommy as the Green Ranger, Jason as the Red Ranger, Gia the Super Mega Force Yellow Ranger, Kimberly as the Ranger Slayer, SPD Cat Ranger, Magna Defender, Lord Draken, Goldar, and Mastodon Sentry. As time went on and more updates and DLC were released, the roster got better. The other 9 characters are Cinezonic Blue, Udana the Mystic Force White Ranger, Dragon Armor Trini, the Zeo Gold Ranger, the Pink Time Force Ranger, Lord Zed, SPD Shadow Ranger, Quantum Ranger, and Daishi. There are also some alternate costume DLCs such as Jason with the Dragon Shield, Tommy as the White Ranger, Kimberly as the original Pink Ranger, and an alternate costume for Draken. Now if you watched the Power Rangers TV series and the recent 2017 movie, you'll be familiar with a lot of characters here, but then you'll be like, who the hell is Ranger Slayer or Lord Dragon or that Mastodon Sentry guy? I'll touch on that when I talk about the story mode. Now on to the gameplay. It's a 3-on-3 team-based 2.5D fighter similar to King of Fighters and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, obviously not quite as good as those. Nevertheless, it plays really well and I've had a good amount of fun playing it. The controls are very simple for anyone to get into, the combos are solid, it's fast paced, and overall, it feels good. So here are the basic controls for this game. The face buttons are all used for your light, medium, and heavy attacks, as well as your special. However, to do powerful specials, you use the trigger buttons. See those blue lightning bars on the bottom? Those are for your specials. Depending on how many bars you have, you can perform even more powerful special attacks. Pressing both triggers with 2 or 3 full bars is basically your finisher. Since this is a team-based game, the basic shoulder buttons are mainly used for assist and tagging. Pressing the left shoulder button gives you assist from your second partner. Pressing the right one gives you assist from your third partner. Pressing either one twice will tag them in. Now if you press both shoulder buttons at the same time, you summon your Megazord. But to be honest, the Megazord feature in this game is pretty lame. All you do is squash your opponent and you don't really see them apart from their legs or their sword, depending on which one you pick. I feel that this is a cheap way to win a battle in case your health is low. Plus there's only 4 to choose from: the original Megazord, Dragonzord, Goldar, and the SPD Megazord. What I love about this game is the way the characters are animated. It really feels like I'm playing as the Rangers from the show. I mean, look at Tommy here as the Green Ranger. Doesn't he remind you of when you watched him as a kid? It sure does to me. What's also cool is when you perform combos, you'll hear an announcer say something kind of like in Mortal Kombat. If you perform a good combo, he'll say Mega. If you perform a really good and powerful combo, he'll say Ultra. Now that is dope. Now about some of the characters in the game, Daishi is the most OP of them all. Seriously, just look at how powerful he is. I could easily destroy everybody with this guy. He is easily my favorite in this game, and I never liked Jungle Fury. Dragon Armor Trini is also very OP, though not quite as OP as Daishi. Also, she is much slower than Daishi for obvious reasons. Doggy Kruger, the SPD Shadow Ranger, is also an excellent fighter in this game. He's really fast, his sword is very effective, and I love his finisher, especially when he says, "Justice is served." Lord Zed is also awesome. He's very powerful, his staff is very long, and his finisher is downright hilarious. Magnet Defender and Goldar are both kind of slow, but are also quite powerful and strong. Of course, I love playing as Tommy and Jason. Both are the most balanced, and that's what I expected. But for Tommy, I think he's somewhat better as the White Ranger here. The Gold Ranger is another balanced fighter. I especially love when he summons Pure Midas as his finisher. Very show accurate. I love playing as the Quantum Ranger. But at the same time, I don't like how you can be really cheap and just repeatedly shoot with his Quantum Defender. It reminds me of Kamen Rider Zolda in the Climax Heroes games. Jen the Pink's Time Force Ranger is another really good fighter. Her Chrono Sabers are very powerful, and I love her finisher. The other characters in the game are decent. I'm not going to go into every single one of them, just the ones that stand out to me. Now with that being said, Mastodon Sentry absolutely sucks. He is easily the worst fighter. I absolutely hate playing as him. I despise his moveset. He feels very clunky. His finisher is terrible. His guns are really weak. And he's just garbage all around. Anyway, now on to the game's main single player, story mode. As I mentioned earlier, some of the characters in the game are unfamiliar to fans who have only watched the TV series. This is because the game is based on the Shadow Grid comics that was recently released by Boom Studios. The story goes like this. In an alternate universe, Tommy becomes the evil Green Ranger just like in Green with Evil. The end of the story plays out exactly the same as in the Mighty Morphin TV series, but even with the spell broken, instead of joining the Rangers, Tommy just leaves, probably due to a mental breakdown or something. So shortly after, Rita Repulsa finds him, tells him of a story named Draken, and so Tommy decides to stay with Rita. Eventually, Tommy and Rita's army fought against the Power Rangers and killed off all of them. Jason almost becomes the White Ranger, but Tommy stopped him, merging the White Power Coin into the Green Power Coin. Now as Lord Draken, he has conquered all of Earth in this world, defeated the Power Rangers, and even kills Rita. Draken is now the ruler of this timeline. Kimberly sought revenge, but ultimately became brainwashed and joined his side, hence the Ranger Slayer form. Now Lord Draken and his army travel through different timelines, creating a disturbance in the morphing grid, and a new war between the various Rangers and Lord Draken wages on. Now is that story awesome or what? And what's even crazier is that in the very beginning, in the normal timeline, Tommy dies! Or does he? In the story mode, you don't pick the characters you want to play as. You have to play as the characters that the story picks for you, since the story is linear. So you're going to go from good guy to bad guy, and then back to good guy, and then back to bad guy, and then so on and so forth until you finally defeat Draken. The story in this game is very short. It took me about 3 hours to beat, and it was my first time too. All the cutscenes are these sort of animated shots where the characters are staying still, but the background is sort of moving. That's pretty cool, and the art style looks really cool. It's on par with the comics. As for the voice acting, all of them have done a great job voicing their characters. A few of the cast members from the series have returned to reprise their roles. These are Jason David Frank as Tommy and Lord Draken, Austin St. John as Jason, Dan Southworth as Eric the Quantum Ranger, Kerrigan Mahan as Goldar, and of course, David Fielding as the one and only Zordon. Other voice talents include Megan Camarena, that's YouTuber Strawberry17, and Kyle Hebert, best known for his voice as Gohan and the narrator in Dragon Ball Z. It should also be worth noting that this mode was not even available at launch. It was a free update included sometime during the summer. The other single player mode is, of course, Arcade Mode, which is a feature in the game since launch. It's exactly what it is, self-explanatory. 7 stages, mostly random battles until you finally face Ranger Slayer, then Goldar, and then Lord Draken. And now for the best feature in the game, online multiplayer. For the first time ever, we finally have a Power Rangers game with online, and a fighting game on top of that. This is something I've always wanted. In the footage you see here, there are only 2 modes, Ranked and Casual. In Ranked, you fight a few matches against the CPU, then square off against other random players. Casual is just a bunch of random online matches. But in a recent update, they added a 3rd mode, Lobbies, in which you can set up your own matches and even fight with friends. So the online mode wasn't that great when this review was being made, but now it's gotten much better. As for unlockables, all you get are banners to use when playing online. You get them by completing story mode, beating arcade with all the characters, winning online matches, and a bunch of other ways. These things are frequently updated. You don't unlock any characters within the game, unfortunately. All extra characters are purchased as DLC. The graphics look pretty good, nothing too special, but not terrible at all. All the Rangers look exactly like their TV show and comic counterparts. Since Power Rangers uses footage from a Japanese tokusatsu series, I think the game looks pretty realistic. I also love how the stages look. The command center is 100% accurate. There's even a stage that looks like a post-apocalyptic New York City, which is awesome. Also, there's a stage where you can see Goldar and the SPD Megazord fighting. Now for frame rate and performance, for the majority of the game, it runs at a butter smooth 60 frames per second, which is how a fighting game should run anyway. Since this is the Nintendo Switch version, there are some very minor frame rate drops. I'm sure this doesn't happen with the other versions since they're on more powerful hardware, but regardless, it runs very well, especially in portable mode. I play my Switch in handheld mode 99% of the time, so this kind of performance is a must. All in all, Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is a good fighting game, but not a great one. It's got great gameplay and excellent controls, but the base game is sorely lacking and the story mode is very short. The game alone is $20 on all digital storefronts, but you're gonna be spending a lot more on DLC than the game itself. And there's bound to be more DLC on the way. And that's my biggest issue with this game. It has a greed problem. You get a very weak base game in exchange for more characters and skins as DLC. Thankfully, some extra content is free through updates, but a lot of the stuff is DLC. Future DLC characters I would love to see are the Phantom Ranger from Power Rangers Turbo, the Silver Ranger from Power Rangers in Space, the Titanium Ranger from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and the Lunar Wolf Ranger from Power Rangers Wild Force. Limited Run Games released a physical version of this game back in the summer last year. I'm glad a physical version exists, but you want to know how much this cost me? $60! And that's not counting shipping and tax. I'm glad this was only for the limited run release and the digital game is still only $20. Otherwise, I would have teared this game apart. I give Power Rangers Battle for the Grid a silver. So what are your thoughts on this game and this review? Did you play it? Did you like it? Did you agree or disagree with what I said? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you for watching. I'm Allie-RX. Stay home, stay safe, and I'll see you on the other side. If you like this video and want to see more, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get immediately notified on the latest videos. If you like my content and want to support me, you can donate to my Patreon for just $1 a month. Go to patreon.com/Allie-RX or search Allie-RX on the Patreon app for mobile devices. If you prefer a one-time donation, you can donate to my PayPal at paypal.me/Allie-RX or send to Allie-RX@gmail.com on the PayPal app for mobile devices. There, you can donate any amount, even a penny. Links are in the description.